Hello everyone. Welcome to your yoga practice for today. My name is Artemis and I'm going to be your guide. When I say that I'm going to be your guide, this means that everything that I am doing here with my body or anything that you verbally hear me say, it's simply a suggestion. Really, the ultimate practice here is for you to be listening to your own body and how you are arriving in the physical form on the mat today. So this means, one day you may be able to bring your feet behind your head and the next day you may just want to curl up in a ball. All of this in the world of Tantra is yoga. And when we're really practicing Tantra Yoga, we are listening to what is in the present moment and not trying to force nor resist our own agendas, our own plans, our own intentions. So all of that being said, I'd like to invite you to come into a seated posture. This could be a kneeling posture, the way that I am. It could be cross-legged in a chair. You could get a bunch of pillows. Whatever a seated posture looks like for you today. And as I said, day to day, each asana that is required may be different from the asana that was required the day before. So really tune into your body and listen to what it's asking for. We're going to take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to just come into a meditation before we begin our more formal moving practice. The moving practice will be stretching the entire body, really to activate the nadis, the energy channels throughout the body. And when the energy channels are flowing and in a kind of healthy and balanced state, we can be far more receptive to tuning into witness consciousness, our true self, or just even to be able to take in information. I know for many of you, what we will be learning in this course is something you've heard before, or maybe have had some introduction to, but also for many of you, it will be new. And so when we have stretched out the body and we have the energy flowing in our system in a balanced and equanimous way, then we are in a better state to be able to receive new information. Good. So coming into that comfortable seated posture, closing your eyes if it's comfortable for you, or just having a soft gaze at something still. And if our eyes are open, we're not really looking at anything in particular. We're having just this open gaze where we're kind of taking in everything that surrounds us, but nothing in particular. And wherever you are, find your breath. Nice long inhalation and exhalation. See if you can make the inhalations and exhalations the same length. And feel that with each exhalation, the muscles in the face are becoming slack and relaxed. Shoulders start to hang down, dropping the weight in the hips and the legs. And with each inhalation, we can kind of feel even if it's not happening externally, we feel this kind of internal lengthening through the spine and the crown of the head. The chin may tuck slightly. Inhaling, there's this internal, maybe even external lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, we're softening every other part of the body. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, softening. And I'd like to introduce you to something that has been a very potent teaching for myself in my journey in rediscovering my true nature. And it's a simple phrase which you're welcome to rephrase how it suits you, but it is, if it is perceived, it is not me. And this means if I can taste it, see it, hear it, witness it in my mind as thoughts or memories, feel it in my body or my mind as emotions, that means it's perceived. That means it is witnessed. That means it is seen. And that means it is not me. We, of course, have been conditioned to refer to ourselves as the body and the mind. But if you were to look at a series of photos of yourself over the lifespan, over your entire lifespan, from infant to toddler to child to teenager to adult to so on and so forth, the body is changing so much over these periods of times, and yet there's something in each of these bodies that we're pointing to and we're saying, me. That's me. That's me when I was 3, that's me when I was 7, and so on like this. But of course it's not the body that we're referring to, for we can see the changes in the body. Science tells us that every 3 days, all of the cells in our body completely renew. With each breath, we have fresh air. It's not the same as the last breath. The senses that we're perceiving, there's no one sense that has been with us from the beginning which will be with us till the end. What we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we feel, this is always changing. Our thoughts are also inconsistent. Our opinions, our perspectives, these are always in a flux, in a flow. There's no one thought that has always been with you. You may try to say that there's a consistent opinion or perspective that has continued with you throughout your life, and yet there are still these moments between that opinion or perspective where it is not there. And there's something that's able to say, this thought is no longer here. My opinion has changed. I have changed my perspective. So therefore, because it is perceived, it can't be me. And the same is true for our memory. What I remember may be different from what my parent remembers or my sibling remembers, or so on and so forth. Memory is also kind of convoluted. The way that we remember things is never quite the same, and no one memory stays with us. We may recall it and forget it, and recall it and forget it. But this I, which is able to say that the memory has been recalled or the memory has been forgotten, this is consistent. If it can be perceived, it is not me. And this can be quite a helpful phrase to say to us as we move through our asana practice and we notice the mind trying to label, I like this asana, I don't like this asana, I like doing that, I don't like doing this, this is easy, this is difficult, this is good, this is bad. Just notice these things. Of course, if there is pain, if there is discomfort, if there's moments that you're really having an urge to move out of an asana, listen to this. We can allow the body to flow and move as it needs to. but still recognizing that this flow and this movement and this changing of postures, it too is witnessed. And if this all starts to feel too conceptual, too mental for you, then just come back to the simple breath. Noticing the sensation of your feet. Feeling your shoulders. Tingling sensation around the face. And together we'll bring our hands to heart center in prayer mudra. And we'll set a sankalpa. Roughly we can translate sankalpa as an intention. But really when we are working with a sankalpa, it's our true inner heart's desire, and it's something that we call upon again and again. And so we can set our individual sankalpas, but I'd also like to set a shared sankalpa for this course, for this practice, for all of the lectures that you're about to receive. And that is simply that we may each be able to come into our own Shiva consciousness, that we may be able to rest as the witness, know ourselves as the perceiver, and start to disidentify with all of our concepts and conditionings. May this be our shared sankalpa. And feel free to take this opportunity to elaborate on this or add your own sankalpa, maybe one you've been working with previously or you'd like to bring into this course and retreat. And as you set this sankalpa, either the shared or individual sankalpa, acknowledge that there's nothing that you need to do to make it happen. That the sankalpa is like a medicine. And simply by offering this sankalpa out into the world, the healing nectar, the possibility, it's already been planted like a seed. There's nothing more that you need to do besides just move with awareness as much as possible through your life, through your practice, through these lectures. So wherever you are, bring your hands down to your sides. And on an inhale, we'll raise the hands up overhead. You can turn the face up towards the hands, which are now in prayer mudra. And as you exhale, draw a circle around with the hands again. Moving at your own pace, making the inhalation the full length of the hands. So we stop inhaling when the hands come to touch. We pause for a moment. And as we exhale the whole time the hands are in movement. And then we pause for a moment on the exhalation, empty lung, holding it in a kumbhaka or a slight retention. Inhaling, the hands come up. And so like this, we synchronize our movements with our breath. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Two more. Already we're starting to warm up the body, get the energy flowing through the system. And if it's in your practice, you can engage ujjayi. a slight retention of the muscles in the back of the throat. Bringing the hands down to the sides, just pause for a moment. Whether you're familiar with Ujjayi or not, we're simply allowing the breath to be calm and natural as much as possible throughout the practice. If we find the breath being restricted, maybe pull out of the posture a little. And wherever you are, dropping the chin towards the chest on the next exhale. Inhaling one ear to one shoulder. Exhaling chin to chest. Inhaling opposite ear, opposite shoulder. Exhaling chin to chest. Moving at your own pace with the breath in semicircles. And if you feel comfortable, moving all the way back into a full circle on an inhale, and on an exhale, the chin comes forward. And changing directions if you haven't yet done so. And slowly coming back to neutral. Bringing the fingertips up to the shoulders, and we'll draw circles with the elbows. Big circles, little circles, staying with the breath. And taking the circles in both directions. And then coming back to stillness. And in these moments of stillness between movement, just noticing, witnessing what is here now that was not here at the beginning of the practice. What is present now? What is perceived? And when you're ready, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. If you're in a chair, you're going to come down to the ground. Maybe pulling out any pillows that you had under your bum. And if you need to, or if you'd like to, you can wrap a little blanket underneath of the knees to provide a little extra support here. Toes can be curled under, or we can be down right on our feet, tops of our feet. Fingers are spread wide, micro bend in the elbows. Crown of the head and the tailbone lengthening out in different directions. Notice your breath. Connecting here with the element of earth. And on your next inhale, the tailbone will turn up towards the sky, and like a wave moving through the spine, then the head will slowly rise. Exhaling, the tailbone turns down, and that wave moves through the spine again as the back curves and the chin tucks up. Moving at your own pace, inhaling, turning the tailbone and then the head up to the sky. Exhaling, going in the opposite direction. Trying your best to do the same as we did with the hands. So each movement is completely synchronized with the breath. As we inhale, the breath moves through the spine. We hold the inhalation for a moment. And then we initiate the exhale, which is synchronized with the movement as we curl the tailbone and then the chin in. 2 more big breaths. And then coming back to a neutral position, back to our tabletop. We're going to make a little C with our spine. So turning the left hip out, gazing over the left shoulder. Big breath here. And then gazing over the right hip and right shoulder, making a C with the spine. And one more time, back over the left shoulder. And then back over the right. And back to neutral, back to our tabletop. Kick that right leg back behind you. And on an exhale, you'll curve it in, trying to bring your forehead towards your knee. Of course, it's quite difficult for this to really touch. For many of us, inhaling, we lengthen through the heel. Exhaling, curl it in. And if you'd like, you can incorporate the opposite hand. So as that right leg goes back, the left arm goes out. And as we exhale, we curl it in. Synchronizing the breath with the movement. Simply witnessing. Noticing the stories that are arising. The liking or disliking of burning, of more dynamic movement coming into the body. One more inhale, lengthen and hold. Exhale, drop the hand, drop the knee. And we can come back to a seated kneeling position or a child's pose. Just a moment to observe. Noticing the asymmetry between the right and left side. Maybe feeling length and extension through the right and left leg and arm, while also this strength in the arm that was supporting us, holding us up. Taking note of any mental stories that are already starting to play. Maybe an eagerness to move back to the movement again, or a resistance towards moving again, liking, disliking, labeling this moment. All is welcome here. Whatever you perceive is not you. Coming back to our tabletop once again. And then lengthening through the left leg now, kicking out through the left heel. And on an exhale, curling it in. Do it a few times like this. And then when you're ready, incorporating the opposite hand. Synchronizing with the breath. Two more big breaths. One more time, we lengthen and hold. Exhaling, slowly release. And coming back to that kneeling position or child's pose, or really any position where you can just rest and observe. Noticing the breath, sensations in the body, sounds, And if your eyes are open, sight, maybe even taste and smell. Mental commentary. If it is perceived, it's not me. We're going to rise up onto our knees. Again, if you'd like, you can place a blanket underneath of the knees here. We're going to extend that left leg out, making a nice, strong column from knee to hip and up. Left hand will come down to the thigh. Inhaling, we'll lift the right hand up overhead. Exhaling, we'll lean over to the left side. Left hand can be on shin or on thigh or on hip. It's just not on the knee. Lengthening through the right hand. Breathing deeply into the belly. A nice stretch for the right side body. If you'd like a little bit of core, you can also lift that left hand up off the ground. And if you're doing so, just make sure you have a steady breath. Equal length inhalation and exhalation. Bicep is stacked over the ear. Gaze can be out in front, down below, or up overhead. Careful you're not locking that left knee. 2 more big breaths. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release the hand. Bring the left knee in. Can rest on your knees or come back into a kneeling position. Just notice for a moment. Right side versus left side. Perceiving, liking, disliking. Labeling, judging. Grasping, trying to hold, trying to keep a sensation, a moment. This is all perceived. Finding that strong column from the left knee up to the left hip and through, extending the right leg. Inhaling, left hand comes up. Exhaling, we'll lean over to the right side. Big belly breaths. Right hand is preferably wherever you had the left hand on the other side, so we can have symmetry in the body. But really doing whatever your body is calling for in this moment. Breathing into the left side body. Feeling the strength coming up through the ground, through your knee, through the bottoms of the foot. This lightness of being coming through the sky, into the hand, through the head. And they're both meeting in the navel. Earth and sky meeting in the center. 2 more big breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Bring in that right knee. Taking a moment again. And any position that works for you, really. Can you perceive energy flowing? You can imagine almost as though there's these dams in the nadis. These areas where energy may have been previously blocked that are now opening up, and fresh revitalization is flowing through the system. Bring the hands down to the ground, curl the toes under. We'll push back into a downward dog. Can take some time to bend one knee and then the other. If
if it is perceived, it is not me. Noticing the breath. We're going to take 3 big breaths here. Fingers spread wide, feet are hips width apart, micro bend in the knees. Shoulders are pulled down and back along the spine, away from the ears. Gaze is between the feet. And as you exhale here, hold the belly on an empty breath, and if you're familiar with it, engage Uddiyana Bandha. So slightly sucking that belly button in and up into the ribs, and then return to your regular breath, not holding for long. So 2 more breaths like this, imagining that as you exhale, fully emptying the lungs, you suck in that belly button a little bit more. And then bringing our gaze between our hands, we'll step that right foot forward. Inhaling, lengthening up through the hands. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Micro bend in the elbows, pinkies turned in. Witnessing the body as it takes this yantra, this sacred geometric shape. Perceiving sensations in the leg, in the chest, the face. Being soft in the face. Connecting with the earth through the feet, the sky through the hands. 2 more big breaths. Inhale, we'll lengthen through the right leg. The hips will come to face forward. Hands will come out to the sides. Bend that right knee once again. Stacking from pelvis to belly button to heart to head. 2 more big breaths. And on your next exhale, right elbow can come down to the knee or the thigh. Left arm will swoop around and up overhead, making a nice line of extension. Baby toe of the left foot pushing out and into the ground. Left pinky reaching up towards the sky. One more big breath. Exhaling, we reach down, frame the front right foot, and push back into your downward dog. And you can continue with those Uddiyana Bandhas if you like, the sucking of the belly button in on each exhale, perceiving sensations in the right leg, the left leg, noticing the mind. What is here now that was not here when you first stepped onto the mat? What was here when you first came to this practice that is no longer here? And what is always present? Can this be perceived? Next, inhale, left hand comes up between the hands, ground down through the foot. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Shoulders fall away from the ears, we're relaxed in the face, micro bend in the elbows. Intention through the fingers, but they're not tight or locked. Pushing out through that right heel. Left knee stacked over left ankle. Noticing this sacred yantra you're forming with the body, energy flowing through your system. 2 more big breaths. Inhaling, lengthening through the front left leg. Back right leg turns, bending the left knee over the left ankle. Pelvis and hips are facing in the opposite direction that they were previously. Hands are out to the sides. Gaze is over the left fingers. A nice line of energy from pelvis to belly button to heart to head. 2 more big breaths. Left elbow comes down to left thigh. Right arm swings around and up overhead, extending through the right baby toe and the right fingertips. If it is perceived, it is not me. Exhaling, framing that front left foot, downward dog. Uddiyana Bandha if you'd like. Just resting as the witness. Bending the knees, bringing the gaze between the hands, we'll hop or step forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. The hands will come up overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Recalling our sankalpa. Pushing our thumbs into our heart space. Take a slightly wider stance, so really quite a wide-legged stance. Toes are facing forward, or if this is too much on the knees, you can take a nice little angle. Hands can come to the hips, keeping the core engaged. Bending in the knees as much as you need to will hinge and come forward. Shaking out your head if you'd like to loosen the muscles in the neck. Hands can stay on the hips, or they can come down to the ground, to the feet, to the legs. Again, bending those knees as much as you need. Noticing your breath. An inversion such as this, where sublimating the energies from the lower chakras up into the higher chakras. On a more physical level, we're getting the lymph moving in the body, blood flowing, heart pumping. 2 more big breaths. Bending the knees as much as you need to bring the hands down to the ground. Walk the hands over to the right leg, lengthening through the left. Take a breath or two here, and when you're ready, we'll slide over to the left side. Again, breath or two here. Just witnessing. Perceiving that as we slide from side to side, what is noticed? What is changing? If you'd like, you can come up a little bit, no longer holding the ground, We're just sliding from side to side. Right elbow will bend, left will lengthen, and then we switch to the other side. Or keeping the hands on the ground, or simply just hanging out, forward fold. 2 more big breaths. And wherever you are, slowly, slowly, slowly rising up. Taking your time. Can feel lightheaded if we come up too quickly. Slowly walk the feet in. And we'll meet back in Tadasana. Noticing the breath. Sensations in the body. Inhaling, we'll lift that right knee up, hug it in towards the chest. You can incorporate the hands around the knee if you'd like, or around the thigh. Grab a strap, doing whatever you feel you'd like to do. And we can stay here, or if you'd like, we're going to flow forward, extending that right leg back behind us. Hands can be at our sides. Can be out in front of us. Strong through that left leg. Micro bend in the left knee. Find your breath. Inhaling, we rise up. Hug the knee in once more. Hold. And exhale, release. Remembering you can take any modifications at any time throughout this practice. Inhaling, left leg now. Hugging it in, holding it. Finding your breath. And when you're ready, extending it back behind. Taking a same position with the hands that you did on the opposite side. Strong through the right foot, micro bend in the knees. Maybe you lose your balance. Holding there. And when you're ready, slowly rising back up. Hugging the knee in once more before touching it to the ground. And then exhale, release. Shake it out if you'd like, or just take a moment to perceive once again. If it is witnessed, it is not me. Hands can come to heart center in prayer mudra. Inhale, they push up overhead. Take a slight back bend if you'd like. Exhaling, we'll swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift with a flat back. Stepping or hopping back into your plank. Chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. And then inhaling up into a mini cobra. Resting in this mini cobra. No hands involved here, just the muscles of the back. If you'd like, you can inhale, lengthen, and exhale, come forward, resting the head on the ground. And on your next inhale, rising and lengthening, building strength in the back. And exhaling, coming forward, moving at your own pace. Inhaling, you rise. Exhaling, you come forward. Alternatively, you can just stay in your mini cobra. You can also bring the hands behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades. Two more big breaths wherever you are. Fully breathing into the belly. And slowly lowering the head down to the ground. Just resting the forehead on a pillow of hands. Breathing here. Perceiving sensations in the area of the back. Perceiving the air on your feet. The weight of the earth beneath your legs. The breath flowing through your body. Soft shoulders, soft face. Notice those places that you're labeling as good or bad, liking or disliking. Two more big breaths. And then from here, we're just going to roll right onto our back, coming into a shavasana, corpse pose. Or you can come into a seated posture, whichever you prefer. Being aware of the toes, bottoms of the feet, tops of the feet, heels and ankles. Calves and shin, knees, thighs, hips, glutes, pelvis. The whole lower body. Perceived, witnessed, felt sensation. Lower belly, upper belly, ribs, chest, collarbones, the whole front of the torso, lower back, middle back, shoulder blades, the spine, from the base all the way up through all of the vertebrae into the base of the skull, the back of the torso, the back of the neck, front of the neck, fingers, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, both right and left arm. Perceived, witnessed, felt sensation. Chin, jaw, cheeks and cheekbones, lips, inside the mouth, tongue, nose,
eyes, eyebrows, temples and forehead, felt sensation, ears, inner ear, sides of the head, back of the head, top of the head. The whole head and face is perceived. Thoughts floating by. Attention drifting to sleep. Both of these are experienced and perceived. Silence, bliss, relaxation, witnessed, perceived, experienced. Each moment presents a new experience, a new perception, a new object to be witnessed. And yes, even our emotions, even our thoughts, energy flowing in the body, these are still objects in the world of Tantra Yoga. All of them perceived. Rest now as the pure perceiving. Disidentify with whatever objects present themselves to you. Neither push them away nor grasp and try to make them stay. Just perceiving equanimously, without any investment or agenda. And slowly, very slowly, movements may come into your fingers and into your toes. Maybe the body takes one final stretch before rolling on to the side. Resting on your side for a moment. Taking big inhalation and exhalation here. And when you're ready, slowly coming up into a seated posture with a soft gaze or the eyes closed. We'll close with a mantra for Shiva. Just simply perceiving. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Inhaling for 3 ohms. Thank you for sharing in this practice with me. Namaste.